The ancient yogis trained their tongue to move far back towards the roof of the mouth. This technique is called Khechari Mudra. They believed this yoga technique would make them immortal. And they did it so they could control amrit, a life-giving nectar within the body. Let me explain why the yogis came up with this mudra. In the head region of the body, there is an area described in yogic text as Soma or Bindu Visarg. Its nature is said to be cooling and nourishing. From this area, a subtle nectar called amrit or Soma is believed to drip downward. But where does it go? According to the traditional explanation, the nectar then moves towards the digestive fire located around the navel area. This is called the inner fire, or in Hindi we could say Jatar Agni. And this process, Jatar Agni, keeps burning, or you could say consuming the nectar. The yogis believed this process was connected to hunger, thirst, physical decline, aging, and eventually death. In other words, the yogis believed that this whole process was causing the body to lose the nectar that was believed to help overcome aging and death. And that led to a remarkable question. What if this flow could be stopped before the nectar reached the fire? This is where Khechari Mudra enters the story. Khechari is one of the advanced practice described in Hatha Yoga. The word itself comes from two parts. Khe refers to sky or space, and Chari means moving or wandering. So Khechari can be understood as a yoga practice connected with moving through space, or with consciousness moving beyond ordinary physical limitations. But physically, the practice is much more unusual. The tongue is gradually trained to move upward and backward towards the soft palate and the deeper area behind it. But why? Because according to the traditional explanation, this area is connected with the place where the yogi could intercept the downward flow of amrit. The ancient text treated Khechari as a highly advanced practice. And this is important disclaimer, please viewers, it was not presented as a simple exercise for anyone to try casually, so do not try to do it at home alone. Some traditional descriptions even give an extreme method in which the tissue beneath the tongue, called the frenulum, is gradually cut. This is sometimes described as a way to increase the tongue's range of movement. But this is not something you should attempt yourself. Cutting or injuring tissue under the tongue can cause serious bleeding, infections, scarring, nerve or blood vessel injury, and other complications. The traditional material also describes a slower approach involving gradual training and stretching of the tongue. But even that should not be treated as a DIY internet experiment. So what did the yogis believe actually happened when Khechari was mastered? This is where the teaching becomes even more interesting. The tongue is placed upward and backward into the deeper region behind the palate. The tradition describes this as creating an internal seal, and it connects this position with three important effects. The first is related to Prana. The idea is that vital energy is no longer constantly moving outward. The second is related to the mind. There is a traditional saying that where the tongue goes, the mind follows. As the tongue becomes still and turns inward, the mind is also said to become quieter. And the third is the amrit lock. The nectar that was believed to be falling downward towards the digestive fire is now symbolically caught before reaching it. So the three ideas come together. The energy is contained, the mind becomes still, and the amrit is preserved. This is why Khechari was considered much more than a tongue exercise. Its purpose was connected with the controlling prana, attention, breath, and consciousness. But what was this amrit supposed to taste like? The traditional descriptions are surprisingly detailed. At first, the fluid experienced by the practitioners is not necessarily described as sweet. The text describes an early stage in which the taste may be salty, bitter, or unpleasant. Then, as the practice progresses, the descriptions become different. The taste of the amrit is said to change gradually, first like butter, then like ghee, then like milk, and eventually like honey or grape juice. And then comes the movement called Amrit Siddhi. This is described as a taste that cannot be compared with any ordinary food or drink. This is what the Vedas called Somras. Many people believe that Somras was some kind of alcohol that the gods used to drink. But according to the yogic teaching, Som is the nectar that drips from within the body. It is like an inner wine that can make you feel intoxicated but does not make you unconscious. Instead, it is said to take you towards a higher state of consciousness. After drinking this amrit, the text describes a remarkable change in the yogi's body. They say that the yogi does not feel hunger or thirst and does not feel the need for sleep. Think about what this means according to the traditional explanation. We feel hungry because our body needs energy and we need fuel from outside. But according to this teaching, through Khechari Mudra, the yogi has stopped this leakage of energy and is recycling his own energy. He is said to be drinking this powerful nourishment coming directly from the brain. According to the source, it becomes so powerful that the need for external food disappears. This is described as the secret behind how ancient yogis could remain in underground meditation for weeks or even months without food or water. Modern science might compare such a state with hibernation. Just as bears enter a dormant state during winter and their metabolic rate decreases, the source says that a yogi practicing Khechari can slow down breathing and the heart beats so much that time itself seems to stop affecting the body. And the greatest experience is not physical, it is mental. According to tradition, the effect of this purpose produces a different state in the brain called unmani. It means going beyond the ordinary mind. The noise of thoughts completely stops. There is no worry about tomorrow and no fear of the future. Only a state of deep and continuous bliss. The source describes it as a natural high or powerful and sacred than any drug. The yogi's body remains where it is, but his consciousness changes. The source also describes a spatial glow appearing on his face, which it connects with the effect of the amrit moving through his body. It even describes the yogi's body becoming like amrit itself. This may sound like magic, but according to the yogic teaching, this is a hidden ability within the human body. So can we experience this amrit in modern life? Or is it only possible for yogis living in the Himalayas? The answer given in the tradition is more complicated, but this brings us to an important question. Should we start cutting or stretching out tongue from tomorrow? Absolutely not. Khechari Mudra is described as a very advanced and intense Hatha Yoga technique. According to the source, in ancient times, it was practiced by people who had devoted their entire lives to the yogic path. Trying to fold the tongue after watching something on internet can have very serious consequences. But does that mean ordinary people have to remain completely disconnected from this knowledge? According to the source, no. The yogic tradition also describes a simpler version for householders called Nabo Mudra or Ardha Khechari. Ardha means half Khechari. You do not need to take the tongue deep inside the throat. Instead, the practice described in the source is simply to place the tongue upward against the palate. When you are sitting idle, working, or meditating, instead of keeping the tongue on the floor of the mouth, keep it against the upper palate, just behind the teeth. According to the source, even this simple practice helps close the body's energy circuit and can help conserve scattered energy. It says, you may notice the noise of your thoughts becoming quieter, your concentration improving, and greater control over unnecessary hunger and thirst. According to the teaching, this does not completely stop the amrit from being consumed, but it can help protect it to some extent. The conclusion is that the human body is not simply a piece of flesh. It is described as a living chemical laboratory. We spend our entire life searching for happiness, peace, pleasure outside ourselves. Sometimes in food, sometimes in alcohol, sometimes in relationships. The source compares us to the musk deer that keeps wandering through the forest looking for a fragrance, while the fragrance is actually hidden within itself. In the same way, the teaching says that the real somras and real bliss and real health are not sometimes you will find in a medicine shop. According to this tradition, they are already within you, waiting to be discovered. The path to them may be through advanced yoga or through sometimes as simple as medicine. So the next time you breathe, remember that you are not simply taking in air. You are experiencing a possibility within yourself. If you found this ancient yogic secret interesting, subscribe to the channel for more videos exploring the hidden teachings of yoga and Indian spiritual traditions. You can support this channel by checking out the channel's merch store through the link in the description or on the About page. Thank you.